Hey, my brother, what are they doing to us?
Well, here's a flyer for it. Explain it to you.
Could you tell me a little bit about what you're doing here?
Yes, sir. I'm running for Congress. If I win the election, I'll bring the boys home from Iraq, our job back from China, and send the Mexican back to Mexico.
Well, what does that mean, equal rights for whites? Are you discriminating against one color or the other? Are you saying,
no. So
are you trying to say that the white people have gotten the shady end of the deal?
That's right.
And now we don't even have no say so
Exactly.
in our own country affairs.
That's right. See, we, the white left, we passed an equal rights for whites law in Michigan. It's upheld in the Supreme Court 2014. Judge Roberts wrote the opinion.
I got you.
Quote, the way to stop racial discrimination is to stop discriminating by race.
That's right.
And then on the day of Charlottesville, on the very day of Charlottesville, by ironic coincidence, we won in the local court. I'd been assaulted on this corner right here, which it'll tell you about in there, by civil rights activists.
We did win.
Yeah, we did win.
I know all about what you're talking about. I've studied it.
That's right. Yes, sir. And then on the very day of Charlottesville, by ironic coincidence, the people who assaulted me were convicted and sent to prison because I was carrying a sign, equal rights for whites, rather than swastikas like in Charlottesville. If I'd been carrying a swastika, I would have lost.
Oh, not only would you have lost, but you'd have been charged with a hate crime.
That's right. But as it turns out, they convicted the people who assaulted me and sent them to prison.
Good.
I argued, their defense attorney argued in court, I did not have the civil right to freedom of speech to run for Congress in public places with a sign equal rights for whites, because that's racist.
That's racist. That's
correct.
And
I argued, what if the situation was diverse? Suppose they'd been standing on the street corner and sign equal rights for blacks, and I assaulted them. Do you think I'd be charged with violating their civil rights? And
you're on the money on all of that.
The court agreed with me. They said he went to prison.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe, and there's many different ways of viewing this. I personally don't believe that the Civil War was started on account of slavery. And the reason why that I don't believe that it was started on account of slavery is because we already had 2 states up north that had already legalized slavery. I believe that the Civil War started because of territorial rights that began out west, and ultimately they're about halfway into the Civil War. Mr. Lincoln had to come up with some sort of excuse because he had the Queen of England and the King of England and everybody else breathing down his neck towards, what the heck are y'all doing over there, killing each other, massacring each other the way that you're doing. And that's whenever they used the race card towards saying, well, we're doing it to free the slaves because we're abolishing slavery.
I think you're right, but
yes,
I can't
sir.
prove it. I think you're right, but I can't prove it. But
yes, sir.
Right.
It's in the history books if you study it.
I've read the same thing you just told me.
Because at that time, and there was a few bad slave owners, but at that time, there was so many slaves that was so grateful that they had come out of a impoverished area over in Africa. And you know, if the truth be known, the people that really cut their own throats was their own people, because it was their own people that was bringing them over here and selling them.
That's right, exactly right.
And of course, you know as well as I do, or I believe that you know this, there was actually more slave owners in the North than it was the slave owners in the South, because in order for you to own a slave, you had to have some
money.
You had to have some money. You had to have some clout about you. So this fabricated story about the Civil War, all about slavery, no, it didn't start out that way.
Yeah, that's the way I argued in court. My great-grandfather fought and died in Lincoln's War on the side of the North to give equal rights to the blacks.
I got you.
If you can see his own great son today denied a job, denied an education, affirmative action, simply because he's white, but the very blacks he fought and died to give equal rights to.
Sure.
He'd know he fought and died fighting on the wrong side.
Sure.
Civil rights has nothing to do with equal rights is affirmative action.
That's right.
Specifically
Now you're knocking on the
Yeah,
door,
which
the right
specifically
door.
denies your white children their job and education of the whites is nothing to do with
Equal rights
Civil
don't have
is a-
nothing to do with fair rights.
Civil rights is a race war against white America, thinly disguised as equal rights. Civil rights is a black Ku Klux
That's
Klan,
right.
and Obama is a grand wizard.
That's
I
right.
say to Obama, my children deserve the same rights as yours. The court agreed.
But at
And
the same
defendants went
time,
to
but at
prison.
the same time, you have to recognize that there are some people out there that carry it too far
Yeah,
to
that's
the
right.
right,
Uh-huh.
pertaining to your Aryan brothers
Yeah.
and your Nazism skinheads and
That's
stuff
right.
like
Of course
that.
They lose. In Charlottesville, they lost.
They go too
On
far.
the very day.
They go
lost
too
in Charlottesville.
far.
That's right. On the very day of Charlottesville.
That's right.
They lost, and we won.
That's-
Because we're for equal rights for whites, not swastikas.
That's right.
I tried to argue this with David Duke, but the alt-right has, at an alt-right conference, I'm not in that, but they allow people to go.
Sure.
But I tried to argue with David Duke, but they have a clever way of winning a debate. They took away my microphone, so I couldn't present my argument.
And of course, I'm sure you're going to agree with this. The KKK was definitely a wrong.
Well, obviously, yeah.
A wrong movement to begin with.
Oh, yeah,
towards
yeah.
trying to discriminate against the black race.
Well, yeah,
and if anybody,
Yeah, the KKK and the Nazis are like,
they're right there hand in hand.
well, they're like Pickett's charge. They are automatically and always going to continue to lose. It's
That-
Pickett's charge, they're attacking the wrong point.
That's
As
right.
Alexander the Great said, concentrate the overwhelming portion of force on the weakest point in the enemy's line and withhold the rest of the course from their attack.
That's
the
right.
weakest point in the enemy's line is their opposition to equal rights for whites, which we proved right at the Henry County Courthouse when we won the case, and those who assaulted me on this corner were sent to prison. If I'd been wearing a swastika, I would have lost, and I wouldn't have dared to lose.
You got that
and
right.
We, the alt-right, or so ever you call them, they're going to continue to lose unless they will give up their swastikas and take.
Sir,
equal
do you
rights for
believe
whites.
that? Do you believe that Donald Trump is the right man to carry us through on this next 4 years?
Well, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, but I would, if I had a choice, I would vote for Tulsi Gabbard. But I'm going to vote for Donald Trump.
Well, let me
because
ask
they
you
won't
this
let Tulsi
question:
in
if
there.
Hillary Clinton would have become president,
I'd be dead.
do you believe right now we would be in a crucial civil war right here in America?
Well, I think we would, but I think I'd be dead because it was Matt Stowe, the Attorney General, Republican Attorney General,
Yes, sir.
that got the court to indict those people.
That's right.
And without him, they would not have indicted the people who assaulted me, and they would have come back. I'd be dead right now. If
That's
Hillary
right.
had won.
That's right.
And if Biden wins, I'll be dead. If Trump wins, I'll be alive. But if Biden wins, I'll be dead because they'll come here and assassinate me. Just as sure as tomorrow.
Maybe not. Have you ever been associated with the government?
No, I've never been in the government. No, sir.
Have you ever been associated with the military?
No, but never been in the military.
Okay. So you're strictly an independent?
That's right. I'm running as an independent. I ran as a Republican at one time, but they threw me off the ballot 6 times.
Ah, okay.
Right here in this corner, I got 60,000 votes in 2004. Every fourth guy that drive by voted for me. 78% of the people voted for me in the Republican primary in 2004. But March 25th, 2006, 66 people in the Republican Executive Committee took my name off the ballot. I mean, what's the purpose of election? They take your name off the ballot after you win. The purpose of election is to create the color of law over an absolute dictatorship.
That's right.
If this country were run by a rule law and rule election, my name would be on the ballot and I won 78% of the vote. If this country were run by a rule law and rule election, how could it be? Our boys are still in Iraq. Our jobs are still in China. Next are still here stealing our homes and our jobs. Even though 80% of the American people want to bring our boys home from Iraq, our job back from China, and send them actually back to Mexico. Answer, because the political media complex has short-circuited the electoral process at the primary level by taking the neighbor candidate off the ballot in 2006.
So what
2008.
has happened there? Have we become corrupted
Yes,
from
we
the
have.
inside out?
That's right. The Republican
Really?
Party is corrupt. I won the election right
We
where
become
we stand.
corrupted from the inside
That's
out?
right.
How can that happen?
Well, the Republican and Democrat are both controlled by the same oligarchs.
The oligarchs, the people with the big
Federal
money,
Reserve,
the
Telescreen. the
what's
Federal
his
Reserve,
what's his name? It's got all that money that
Soros, George Soros.
George Soros
That's
and
right.
people like him.
People like him. That's right.
Those are the people that's controlling
That's
the
right.
paper dolls or
Exactly.
the
And the newspapers and
Yeah.
the media.
Really?
And also, they're controlling the Democrats and Republicans. They control everything. But they don't control us, the people out here. That's the guy got 60,000 votes. They didn't control those 60,000 people.
not here. Not here.
Now, if I was in Los Angeles,
What's
I'd
your
be
name,
dead.
sir?
James Hart. H-A-R-T.
James Hart. Pleasure. I realize we probably wasn't supposed to have done that.
We're good.
Here's some